All right. It is December 27th, 2022, Tuesday. And this is a video that actually explains why on earth I have started this channel to begin with. And that is because despite the epic start to that 300K evaluation account, I managed to blow it up last week. And this is what I wanted to just kind of dissect and figure out kind of the perfect storm that happened so that I can avoid it again in the future. And also just to encourage anybody who keeps blowing up accounts and maybe you've never gotten a funded account and it's kind of like, will this ever frickin' happen? And yes, it will. You just have to stick with it. And um, these are basically going to be, these are going to be my thoughts about what happened. And if you don't already, I highly recommend doing voice memo recordings that serve as a journal for your thoughts, especially on days like today or that day, because that day was December 22nd. So last Thursday, I think that was. Let's double check. Yep, it was last Thursday. So yep, I went on tilt. So again, the point of this video and the point of the channel, really, avoiding discouragement after a bad day. And to recap how that 300K evaluation was going until Thursday, day one was great. $853 profit. More about that later, but that's decent. And 44 minutes, which kind of meant to me it was rough trading. And then day two, in 2 minutes, managed to do over 4,000 in profit on day two. And then these are all NQ trades, by the way. And then day three, a little longer trading session, but over $4,700 in profit on day three. And on day three, I think I ended the day right around 309,000 and change. So I was north of $309,000. Next, so that's day three. Day four started out tough. And like I said, from the voice memo journal that I like to keep, where I reflect on the trading for the day, it started out as a tough day. I woke up feeling kind of crappy because I read an email the night before that put me kind of in a funky mood. I went to sleep like that, woke up the next day like that. And so I woke up in a way where I just didn't really feel great about myself. And, I'm sure a lot of us can relate. It happens. It doesn't happen all the time, luckily, but it happened on that day. And so that day's trading got shaped by the mood I was in. And after the fact, it took a few hours for me to get over it and kind of come to some clarity on it. But what I realized was I was mentally trying to shake that mood from the night before by validating myself with my trading P&L. So just to give you an idea of how um, that day had been going, this is Ninja Trader, and I hope you can see it. I hope it's not too small. But if you look right at the cumulative net profit, the first few trade, not even a few trades, first couple trades, like 2 lots or whatever, they were losses, and then quickly I got into mind you, this looks like a lot of trades, but when you take a 10-lot trade, for example, it's all the same trade. It just, it looks like you traded a lot when really it's just multiple lots on the same entry and exit. So anyway, if you look at this part here, the cumulative net profit, this column here, I think you can see it where the bigger red column is. I basically worked my way out of those losses pretty quickly, and I'm in the 500, 600, 700, $800 range of profit right here. So as the morning went on, I ended up being up 17.99. I don't know if you can see that, but I was up 17.99 at about 10:52 a.m. And had started trading at 8:46. So about 15 minutes into the market open, I started trading, and then by 10:52, almost 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time, I was up almost $1,800. And that's perfectly respectable, totally fine. But like I told you, I was hell bent on validating myself for that crappy mood I was in. And then I proceeded to go into a couple losses and more losses and more losses. And it just blew up. Okay. So if that wasn't annoying enough, I went I went downstairs. I got out of my office. I went downstairs and then kind of talked myself off the ledge, doing some of my voice memo recording. And then I said, "You know what? Go trade some sim and you know, just shake it off. Trade some sim." So I did, and then I hit a $20,000 profit in like 25 minutes. So that was really irritating, but we all know sim is different than when you actually have to perform. So I ended up resetting that 300K account. I know. It was definitely a tilt day. So here's the reset account. First, a couple trades were losers, but then quickly made it back. And so here, this trade, I was up 1942. So we're talking from 15 minutes, so 5 minutes, right? So I started trading again at 115, closed this trade at 120, and I was already up $1,900, north of $1,900 on the reset 300K account. Well, that account, now just keep it in the back of your mind where I said I felt like I needed to prove myself or validate myself for the mood I was in. I'm already north of the profit I was up um, in that initial 300K account, which, by the way, the balance had gotten as high as 311,000 in 4 days, right? So I was more than halfway there in 4 days. So when I reset, I'm already in 5 minutes doing better than I was in, like 2 hours of that other account. Continue to trade, and as you can see, I'm up at the bottom here, I'm up 4,000. I'm up over $4,000. Kept trading, and my max profit here, that was already like locked in profit, 80 81 $8,112. So north of $8,100. So that is what, 115 to 129. So in less than 15 minutes, I was already up $8,100 in one day on the reset account. But because I was already in like what I call cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs land, I kept going because I felt like, you know what, I'm going to crush it, hit that 20K in one day. And then I just freaking blew it up. And it was crazy because it- okay, it's not funny, but um long story short, I was up over $8,100 in one day and couldn't get myself to stop because circling back to that mental foundation I had for the day was I felt like I had to prove something. I had to validate myself. So, a lot of it is to avoid discouragement moving forward, right? To avoid discouragement, you have to kind of find those little key nuggets of why did I fucking do that? And sometimes you just don't know. And especially when you get into toxic reset after reset after reset, or if you choose not to reflect on a shitty day, you're doomed to repeat it. And at the very least, record a voice memo venting to yourself about why you think all this crap went down. So, again, to avoid discouragement, I realized, it's because I was trying to validate myself because I woke up feeling crappy. And, I'm not going to bore you with a video because I wasn't recording at the time. But the very last trade would have actually won, but because my order got skipped. Let's put it this way, my target was at point of control, going long from the bottom, right? The bottom of the trading range, I was going long. Well, the price wicked right through my target, but the market was so thin that my order to sell and take profit was not far enough up in the trading, in the order book queue. So I got skipped. So my target got hit, but I got skipped partly because of the size. So you gotta realize once you start going up in size, you might not get you run the risk of not getting your orders filled because Nasdaq is a thin market. It's thin. Um, more on that later, but I mean not today, but it's a thin market. The order book is thin. There's not a lot of depth when it comes to what size is available at those price levels. So the price can actually trade to your price that you want, but you won't get filled because there just weren't enough um, offers there. So, or bids there, I should say, if you're selling along. So that was just a crazy good lesson for me today, and um, or that day, I should say. So to avoid that discouragement, I was like, you know what? You had the skill to make over $8,100 a day, that day until you lost your shit, right? And your order actually got the order that would have saved that account that day and given you like a $2,000 profit or more. That order got skipped because the size was too thin in the order book. And that's just the luck of trading. I mean, you can't get mad at it because sometimes it helps you and sometimes it hurts you. So these are the types of things you got to think about when it comes to avoiding discouragement. Um, and the other main thing you have to dial in for yourself is learning when to press and keep trading and keep as some traders call it, keep sampling and just, you know, this is your setup. You have to take your setup and you have to know when to press and when to walk away because some days are great for pressing. Some days are great because you get the volatility, you get the price movement, you get what you want for your type of trading style. So not every day is going to be a good day for your trading style. So you have to know when to press. And then you have to know when to walk away because some days, like, you just don't have it. And that's something you got to learn. Um, and that's why I do have I don't want to say argument, but I don't agree when people are like, just be consistent. Just get that dollar. Just get that $150 a day and blah blah. There is a place for that. But what I'm saying is consistency. That's just like you saying to the market, every day I want $500 from you. You can't say that. You can't. So same thing with every day I want $200. No, every day I want 1,000. You can't be expecting consistency. Same thing with your daily profit targets. It's a good place to start. It's a good thing to have in your mind, I guess, but it's not realistic because some days you can't make $200 to save your life. And other days you can make over 1,000 bucks. So why are you going to limit yourself to, well, I told myself once I make 500 bucks, I stop. Okay. But what about the days that you lose 600? If your losing days are way bigger than your winning days, that's a whole nother video in and of itself. So, you know, the main thing that bit me in the ass that day was, hold on one second, I gotta sneeze, sorry. Hold on. The main thing that bit me in the ass that day was not being mindful and not staying aware. There are moments you just get so sucked into the market that you can't see the forest for the trees and you can't step back and say, let me take a break. Like, there are some days you get so sucked in you can't even take a break, and you really need to take a break. You really need to take those breaks to maintain that mindfulness. And if I would have stayed present, I would have seen that I was up over $8,100, and there's nothing wrong with that. But instead, I saw that number and said, You know, after day 3, I was up way more than $308,000. I need to keep going until I catch up to my earlier profit levels today, which was 311,000. Like, that's what my brain was thinking, and that is so messed up, right? Obviously. So, when you're not mindful, $8,100 is not good enough. And these are the types of things that come clear to you when you record voice memo journals. It becomes oh my God, I can't believe, oh my God, you're right. This is why like, super, super helpful, and again, this is why I made this channel to encourage anybody that goes through this. You know, maybe you're not a great trader yet, and maybe you have a lot more to learn, but don't give up. And maybe you already are a good trader and you still have shitty days like this. I promise you, these kind of days happen to everybody, especially in the beginning when you're dialing it in, or maybe you're trying to uh, press the edge of where you're comfortable with. And all of the funded traders have blown up accounts. Well, maybe not all. Maybe there's a few called, you know, liars, but, like, Daryl Martin has blown up funded accounts, Canadian futures traders blown up funded accounts. So many of us funded traders have blown up funded accounts. The people who there's this stock market trading guy. I'm not going to name his name, but he's like, people who say that blowing up accounts is normal and it's part of trading, that's bullshit. That's not normal. That just means you're stupid. You know what? This channel is the antithesis of a guy like that. Freaking self-righteous mofo that whatever, you know. No, if you're human, this is going to happen. This is part of your learning curve. And you just got to keep going. You can't, just do yourself the favor and extend your time frame, extend your horizon, not your time frame for trading, but instead of saying, I need to get funded by the end of this month, so I can take advantage of that great Apex deal, like, no, give it a longer time frame. Say, by this time in February, I will be funded. Or like honestly, the way that my trading really took a turn and improved was I said, I'm going to give this a 10-year run. I was watching something on Ed Milet channel and he was interviewing this one entrepreneur who was like, most people have such a short time frame. They want all this success in like 2 years, 1 year. He's like, dedicate yourself to 10 years at learning your craft. Give it a 10-year run, and after that, then you can give up if it doesn't work, and that's what I told myself. I said, "You know what? At 10 years from now, I will still be here. Will I have given up on this goal, or will I have succeeded?" So I said, "Just give it a 10-year run." And I am so much better as a trader now than I was back then, and, I'm gonna wrap this up now because I don't have, much more to say, but before, I used to think making 200 bucks a day was a great profit target. And then I evolved to the point where I was like, okay, 500 bucks. That'll make me a six-figure trader. 500 bucks. And then it became 1,000. And then, like I started making 1,000. And then I was like, oh, some days make even more. And then I was like, oh, 4,000. Oh my God, it can be done. Oh no, that's a fluke. Yeah, it's just a fluke. Like there's an evolution to what you think is possible. So when you have crappy days like the one I had last Thursday, don't let it end your don't let it end um your plan. Stick to the plan. This is part of the learning curve and I promise you, I mean I've already gotten a 300K account in the past. I blew it up in a similar way to this, but you know, I know I've done it, so it's really kinda like a slam dunk, it's just a matter of when, and I want you to get to that point too, maybe you're just gunning for a 25K account. I mean, you can do that. Like, my 50K account, I finished day 7 today, um, and we'll start trading that soon, and I'm trying to figure out my live broadcast, but, live streams, I should say, but for now I think this is a good place to end it, and even the best traders, even good traders, I'm not the best, but even good traders have bad days. Just shake it off. I know this is when those voices creep in our minds, like our parents who said that this is BS and it's a scam, and see, they just want you to reset, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Fuck what you heard, stick with it. If you don't quit, you're going to be putting up days like this. You're going to be putting up days like that. So, um I hope this encouraged you, and honestly that is truly the whole point of this channel. Just to encourage you to not quit, because you will have hard days. That joke about trading is it's the hardest what is it? It's the easiest money, it's the hardest job. It's the hardest easy money you'll make. There you go. Something like it's the hardest easy money you'll ever make. But once you dial it in, I mean, it's so worth it. So, uh, I think I'll just wrap it up with that, and I'll see you on the next video.